our Back to Basics series, and we are in our third session where we are going to be overcoming objections today. My name is Dawn Edens, and with me today I have the pleasure of having Shelly Murray with us. So let's go ahead and get started so we can conquer these objections. You know, I love this quote that's on this page. It says, "An objection is not a rejection. It's simply a request for more information." You know, and if you really take that to heart, it really is. People are they're easy to tell you no just because they don't have all the information. So that is the focus of our webinar today, is to empower you to know how to handle when these objections come up. And I say when they do come up because, as Shelly and I both can attest, you are probably going to receive every objection that you see on this webinar today. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. Now, one thing you want to remember is that when folks give you an objection, they truly are, either one, it's because they don't understand, or number two, it's just they are just nervous. They're not sure what they're going to get into when you are sharing forever with them. So one technique that we found that has really helped is to use the feel, felt, found technique. So when someone gives you objection, you'll want to say, "I understand how you feel." And then the next one is, "I felt the same way." And then you end with, "What I found was." And so how this would work is, you know, I understand how you feel, how you can be so overwhelmed. I felt the same way when my friend introduced me forever. But what I found was there's a step-by-step approach that will help us get our pictures into our accounts and permanently stored. So to kind of remember feel, felt, found as we go through each of these scenarios. It'll help you relate to the folks that you are talking to, and also helps put them at ease, so that as they are walking through these objections and you know, expressing kind of what they're feeling, that you have empathy for them as well. So let's dive right into our first objection. Okay, Shelly, here's one I know we get all the time. Why in the world do I need forever? Can't I just use an external hard drive?
Excellent. And you're right, Dawn. I get this objection all the time. You know, an external hard drive is a great solution for a temporary backup and a temporary storage of our photos and other documents. But an external hard drive can crash just like a computer. And in fact, the shelf life of an external hard drive is between 4 and 7 years. So we need to be very careful that we're not relying on an external hard drive to preserve our memories, especially not preserve them permanently. So Forever is the only photo preservation site that's available to us, and it's the only way to preserve our photos and documents permanently. And that is really the whole crux of the business, is the permanence. And the fact that Forever has a guarantee fund that is set up to take care of our photos over time and to maintain them right on the Forever account today, tomorrow, and also for the future. An external hard drive just can't preserve our memories and our photos in that same way. So while an external hard drive or a flash drive is great for a temporary backup, it's certainly not good for long term. The other reason is when you think about sharing. If you had an external hard drive and you wanted to share with a friend, you'd have to go get that hard drive, bring it to the computer, hook it up, and then bring up your photos. Well, with Forever, you're able to access all of your photos in any web browser or any mobile app. So you're able to access them so much easier with Forever than you would on an external hard drive. And lastly, the other point I like to make is your family plan, your plan for all of your memories and your photos. If you're the one taking care of all the family photos and something happens to you, does your family members know that all the family photos are residing on a certain hard drive or a certain flash drive in your desk drawer? Or could that be something that is just overlooked in the event that something happens to you, the person who's in charge of all of these memories? Having everything preserved permanently on Forever would allow access to your family members and to future generations should anything happen to you in the future. So anyways, those are just a couple of things that I like to talk about when I get the objection of why do I need Forever and why can't I just use an external hard drive?
Love that, Shelly. And if we take what Shelly just said and apply our feel, felt, found technique, this is exactly what it would say. You know, I understand exactly how you feel. I felt the same way, that I totally could keep my photos on my external drive and they would be perfectly safe. But what I found is an external hard drive has a shelf life. It is not a permanent solution. It is going to fail. and how sad I would be if I lost all my photos. So, so that is a true example of how you could use feel, felt, found with the answers that Shelly gave us. So great job, Shelly. All right, let's go to our next objection. How is Forever different from other cloud storage companies? So I just put a few in here: Dropbox, iCloud, Carbonite, etc. But Shelly, take it away.
Yes, I'd love to. This is another one that we get often, and there are some huge differences between Forever and these other storage companies. The first thing I want to say is these other companies are really e-commerce sites, sites that are making money off you using their site. And Forever is different. Forever is not an e-commerce site, it's a photo preservation site. So it's a place that when you purchase your Forever account, as you know, the majority of the money goes into the guarantee fund to preserve your photos over time. So with Dropbox, Carbonite, those that are kind of like a backup, when you pay them, you're just paying a monthly fee that you will continue to pay in order to use their services. Their services are simply, the Carbonite is simply to back up your computer. So what would happen if you would stop paying your Carbonite bill after several years? Your things would stop being backed up. So that solution is not a good long-term solution. It's just a short-term solution. As far as Dropbox, when you stop paying that fee, consider that you've organized and kept all of your photos and documents in Dropbox over time. And then when you stop paying that fee, according to their terms of service, your account would be shut down. So it's not a good long-term solution. In addition to that, if you look at some of the other storage sites like Shutterfly and some of these other places like Apple, if you've read their terms of service, you'll recognize that they have the ability to terminate your account at any time. So there's no permanence there. They're able to just shut down your account without any prior notice. In addition to that, I mentioned the fact that these are e-commerce sites. These are sites that are making money off of your purchases. Not only are they doing that, but they're also retaining the digital rights of all of your files. So whether they're photos or documents that you're putting up on some of these free sites, they also are gaining ownership over your documents and your photos. And in addition to that, they're data mining that information so that they're selling that information to third parties. So third parties can then begin advertising to you based upon what's in your photos or what may be in your documents, or even email for that case. So with Forever, everything in your Forever account is completely private. It's always owned by you. You always retain the digital rights of everything in your account. There's no data mining of the information that's in your Forever account, and it's secure. In addition to that, you own the digital rights. We do not. And you are, and it's permanent. So you're able to keep all of your things in your Forever account permanently online, as opposed to these other places that could shut it down at any time without any prior notice.
All right. Perfect, Shelly. Thank you. And here's just an example, as Shelly said. Make sure you read the terms and agreements of some other companies, and feel free to, copy and paste those terms and agreements and show your clients and your customers, hey, did you know this was in there? Because you're not going to find in Forever's terms and agreements that we're going to shut your account down or we're going to terminate it at all. So great point, Shelly.
And, all right, and Dawn, that's a really good point to make as well. Our terms of service are really pro our members. It really is saying what we are giving and doing for our members with regards to how secure Forever is and the permanent, as opposed to the other terms of service is really focused on what they're not going to do. So it is a very, very different experience when you're reading the terms of service.
Love that. Well, this goes right along with that of the objection sort of we just talked about. Is how can Forever really be forever?
Yeah, exactly. And we kind of covered this a little bit in the first objection, but I would say this is the biggest objection that I ever get. And it's really important to just help them to understand that Forever is really different. Forever is the only company out there who's really providing a plan for photo preservation. And the way it works is through this endowment fund, this guarantee fund that we like to oftentimes say it's much like an endowment. It's much like a life insurance policy. It works the same way. When you become a member of Forever, the majority of your money goes right into that fund, and that fund will continue to grow over time. And we take out small quarterly draws in order to maintain your photos and documents on the site. And in addition to that, it also pays to have all of the files on the Forever site to be digitally migrated to new file formats over time. So right now we're looking at JPEG photos, but in the future it will be something else. And each time we go to a new file format, we will continue to migrate all of these files to that new file format so they can continue to be seen. Even 100 years from now, on whatever device we're using, you'll still be able to see all of the photos and documents on that device in that file format. So that's how I usually talk about Forever, how it can be forever, and how our guarantee fund works. I think a lot of people really can understand how life insurance works and how an endowment policy works and how those have always been successful over time, and how Forever is really set up to be very similar to that.
Awesome. Great job. All right, let's go to the next objection. I am so overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start.
That's a great one, because Forever is here to save the day and to help that person. You know, we always want people to recognize that Forever is one place. It's the only place that you need to give you everything that you need with regard to preserving your memories. We have all of the tools to help you to collect, curate, and even celebrate your memories right in Forever. And that's what being an ambassador is all about. So you as the ambassador are there to help that person so that they can recognize that there is an easy way and they don't need to be overwhelmed, and you'll help them each step of the way. Maybe invite this person to come to a monthly workshop, or to set up to have coffee individually once a month just to check in with them. Or maybe they even want more help than that and be an assistant to them in what they might need to help them get started. But I would say just start one step at a time in the collect phase. So the collect phase, as you know, is to bring all of the photos together and bring them into Forever. So you could let them know that it's going to feel very good and give them great peace of mind when they bring in all their old camera cards into Forever and any old hard drives or flash drives they might have, old computers with photos on it, different family cell phones. Just bringing them together one at a time into Forever will help them to get started. And we give them all the tools they need so they don't need to feel overwhelmed.
Love that. Yeah, it's all about baby steps, isn't it, Shelley?
That's right. Absolutely.
All right, here's another one. I know I hear this all the time too. I'm not techie. I don't even own a computer.
Yeah, that's true. You know, the neat thing is you can do so much right from the Forever mobile app. And, you know, even using, like, you know, a person who's not techie who doesn't own a computer. I've worked with some people like this before. Typically, they're much older, and that's fine. But I went in to a person's home and helped them gather all of their old photos and all of their old videos and anything that they had. And I sent them right to Forever Media Conversion, had them digitized, uploaded to their Forever account, and all they needed was their phone to be able to look through all of the things that had been preserved. And then right on the phone, they were able to simply flip the photo over and write in the description. In fact, you can even these days on the iPhone and probably the Android too, use the voice recorder in order to record what you want the back of each of the photos to say. So there are so many things that you can do with Forever, and you don't need to be techie. And it's even okay if you don't own a computer. And then the second thing I want to say is Forever is really set up so it can be used very easily on the computer. So people who are not techie really learn very quickly how to use Forever because it is so user-friendly and so easy to use. And at this point, I would say, hey, let me show you, and just pull out the phone app and show them how easy it is to navigate the phone app, and even get on to the computer and show them how easy it is to navigate the Forever account. And also let them know how we have great tutorials and training, video training, and how you're available to help them each step of the way as well.
Love that. Yes, I love that. You help them start where they're at, and then when they feel comfortable by just using their phone, then maybe you can introduce the iPad or then even a computer as well. So love the advice, Shelley. All right, next objection. I can't afford Forever. You know, and this goes along with that objection that why would I use Forever because these other sites are free. You know, what I love about this objection is that to me, this objection means, you know what, I'm interested in forever, but financially, that's my barrier. So the cool thing is you as an ambassador have multiple ways to help these folks see how they actually could afford forever. So we've set it up where you have the one-time payment or a payment plan. So it sounds like in this situation, talk through the payment plan. You know, for $29 a month, we can get you started. And, you know, ask them, you know, what can you take out of your current budget so you could afford $29 a month? Maybe it's one Starbucks coffee a week. Maybe it's not going out to dinner once a month. Maybe it's, you know, do you have a birthday, or is there a holiday coming up where somebody can gift you a forever account as well? So those are some conversations that you can have as well. The other one is, you know, we have an amazing host program. So if they have folks that want to learn about forever, have them grab their folks, their friends and their family together, let you do a little presentation, and they can receive host rewards to help pay for their forever account. So that's another way. And then the third way is they have the ability to become an ambassador as well. So if they truly believe in forever, they get what forever is, that money is the obstacle, show them how they can turn around and share forever with their friends and family, earn money on what their friends and family purchase, and they can use that, their commission checks, to turn around and pay for their own forever account as well. So there are many ways that you can help people see how they can afford forever. And I know one of the other things that we do talk about is you can ask folks, you know, do you realize, or do you even know what you would pay if your photos that are on your current external hard drive or computer, if those devices crash, do you realize how much, you know, the Geek Squad would charge you to recover those photos? And I know, Shelly, it's probably upward $500, and I've even heard $1,000 before at some places, correct?
Absolutely.
So,
yes. In fact, I have he just lost everything and had to pay over $1,000 to try to retrieve it just from the external hard drive. So you're right.
So in some instances, you know, starting with forever is cheaper than, you know, than having to pay a Geek Squad to come recover what will be lost very soon as well. So those are some options for you if when people say they can't afford forever. So there's always ways to work around that and help them find a storage plan that fits within their budget. The next objection that we get all the time too, Shelly, don't we, is I'm too busy right now, or I don't have any time. You know, and again, this is where that feel, felt, found technique just comes in perfect, saying, you know what, I totally understand how you feel. I felt the same way, you know, the first time I was introduced to forever. But what I found is that if I could just find just 5 minutes a night, or maybe, you know, 30 minutes a week, I was surprised at how much I could get done in my forever account. If I could show you a way that we could start with the photos on your phone, or start with a couple, you know, start with that external hard drive, you know, do you have 30 minutes that we could get started with? Would you be interested? So I think definitely, you know, asking them, how much time do you think that it would take to manage a forever account? Or how much time do they think it would be to get started and get organized? It's kind of fun to hear what their answers are. And then again, like Shelly said, just let them know we do have a step-by-step plan. We start with collecting. Let's collect everything. Let's get it all in one space. And then let's start, you know, slowly uploading that into forever, or slowly sending it to our media conversion center where they can have those digitized as well. But definitely, you know, I love this objection, because again, it shows I'm interested in forever, but time is an issue. So this is definitely where you as the ambassador can offer them to come to your workshops, offer to have a one-on-one with them, offer to have them gather some friends together so everybody can learn about how simple it is to get started with forever. All right, here's another objection. So you're talking to some folks and they say, you know what, I need to check with my husband first. And I keep saying this, but I love all of these objections, because again, it shows that people are interested in what you have to offer, but there's just one little tiny thing that's stopping them from doing so. In this instance, absolutely let them go back, check with their husband or family member, whoever it may be. Let them check with them first, but always ask them a question. You know, is there a time that you and your husband, you know, can both, you know, chat with me? Is there a time that I can chat with both you and your husband? Is there a time that I can come over? Maybe you do it over the phone. Maybe you do it through a screen sharing service. You know, I would always try that approach first so that you get full buy-in from that other family member. If there's not a time where that will happen, then make sure that your friend or customer, whoever this is, make sure you ask the question, do you have enough information to go back to share with your husband on what forever is? You want to make sure that she is educated enough to where she can go back and relay what it is, forever is, and what she's most excited about as well. So definitely when they say, I need to check with somebody first, absolutely encourage that, but always have a follow-up plan. Say, you know, absolutely, go back and check with your husband. Is it okay if I call you, you know, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock where we can see what he said? So set up a follow-up appointment with them. So first of all, she knows that you're committed to helping her get started. And secondly, it's going to force her to talk to her husband because she knows she has to talk to you the next day as well. But definitely encourage this and make sure they have enough information to go back and share with as well. All right, Shelley, I think we have covered the majority of the objections that we have heard in all our years of doing forever. So what we're going to do is we are going to end this. I know, I think so too. And so I think we are going to end this Back to Basics webinar with a little call to action. And so this is what I want you to do. I want you to ask a teammate, whether it's your upline, a downline, a sideline, talk to a friend or a family member and have them role play with you. Have them give you at least 5 of these objections that we talked about today. All right, so have them share that they're not techie, or what does it mean to be forever, or, you know, any of these other ones that we talked about. And you practice using the feel, felt, found technique to give them more information so that they can overcome that objection and make a decision on if forever is right for them. And Shelley and I will tell you, the more that you practice confronting these objections, the more confident you are going to be when you are out sharing forever. Because I'll probably raise my hand and say, I don't know that there is a time that I've ever shared forever that I have not gotten at least one of these objections. How about you, Shelley?
Absolutely, yes, for sure.
Yeah, so the more that you can practice these objections, the more confident you're going to be, and the more you're going to have that desire to step out of your comfort zone, because you're going to have your Superman cape on and you're going to be ready to conquer the world to share forever with them. So this is your call to action, and so we can't wait to see how your role-playing goes. And the fun thing about role-playing is that it's okay to mess up, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're learning as you go. So definitely do this call to action, and we can't wait to see how this helps you move forward and share forever with others. So make sure you tune into our next Back to Basics webinar, where we're going to talk about how to close the deal. So thank you for joining us, and y'all have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.